Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to the student pen report on the Pelikan Pelikano Junior. We have already done the Pelikan Pelikano, which looks a little different. It was the red one that I've already done a report on. And so I'm excited to talk about this one because I actually preferred this one. The main difference, this one has an A nib and it has such a different body. The pen body just looks so different. And so it's simpler, and I ended up really falling for this one a lot. When I started out, I was using Diamine Oxford Blue, but we'll save that for the ink journals. Right now, I just want to give you a tour of the pen, and then we'll do some comparisons, and then we'll get into the ink journals, several different notebooks. And then I'll tell you what I liked and didn't like, and a few more details as we go. Then at the end, I'll go to the library and we'll just chat for just a few minutes. So it's a small pen. It's a kid-friendly pen, and that's what it's all about, I think. It's got an A nib. The cap is very simple, especially compared to that other model. You know, it's just real plain, and then inside it's got a nice seal in there, like a inner seal, and it has right on the cap, it says Pelikano Junior. It has the little pelican on the finial. I'm reshooting my first my first attempt. Oh, it was so disappointing because I didn't notice till later. It wasn't in focus for the very first 3 minutes, and that's not acceptable. That's the whole point, is for you to see the pen, right? So then it's got this yellow section that's rubberized, and that's important to know. I've been told that's super important to know. Some people have the allergies to the material, so. And it has all three finger positions kind of suggested. It's got a little indent underneath too, and a top and side. This is a right-handed one, and it has an A nib. Let's see, let's look at that nib and feed if we can. Oh, glorious focus. It's so wonderful when things are in focus. Not always simple to achieve, but there we go. And then this, right now, we have a cartridge in it, a Pelikan cartridge that came with the pen when I purchased it. But I started out using a converter that I purchased separately. And I'll tell you all about that. There was quite a bit of difference in, you know, my ink selection and the ink that comes in the little cartridge. So it's quite, you know, petite. I'm trying to, well, of course, we're going to do those comparisons next, but it's very similar to the Pelikano and even the ABC, but let's save that for next. I'm thinking, okay, I didn't bring these to your attention, these little kind of bubbles that come out. It kind of appears that that would serve as an ink window when you have the converter. I'm not so sure. This little cartridge is so white. You know, it has the little turtle and dinosaur, I guess, and a little elephant. It has some figures on it, so you can't really see in there right now. But if I remember right, you could pretty much see right through when I had the converter in it. So that's the pen. Let's do our comparisons. Let's look at it, because I think that's where we can really see some things. And now we've been seeing these pens. We kind of building on our you know, the looks and the features of some of these. So we'll put it right in the middle. This is today's. Try to get things straight. Okay, so you can see right off that it's in that. Whoops, let's push those to the bottom so they get a fair shake. It's kind of in the zone with these three. The Kakuno, this is the Pilot Kakuno. The Lamy ABC, which I'm just writing with for April 2023. So just starting out with that one. And in fact, this has in common with the Pelikano Junior the fact that it has an A nib. And then this was a medium nib on the regular Pelikan Pelikano. So I think what we're going to want to do is compare the sections between these two. Or, you know, just kind of look at them. They're very similar. So your Pelikano Junior and your Pelikano. Very, very similar in size and in the suggested grips. Not identical, but let's lift them up here and see if we can. but very similar. You've got rubberized grips on both of them with that little kind of, that's another right-handed one that I had on the regular Pelikan Pelikano. And both of them have significant little interesting above the section there, where if you stick them in the ink to fill them, yeah, you will be using a paper towel around it. But we're familiar with that even with the Safari. Oh, I put the Safari away. Shoot, I've got a whole bunch of comparisons to show you at the end when we look at the pen case. But they're very similar. So let's put this one away and then kind of compare to the Kakuno. Well, and obviously the caps on these two. So that today's pen, the Junior, has that simplified cap. And that's going to matter to some people quite a bit. You know, that it's just much more sleek and simple. So I meant to bring that to your attention. So this is the Pilot Kakuno. It doesn't have as much of a suggestion. There's a suggestion there. You can feel it. But it's not really, it's not as much as the Safari, and it's definitely not like the Pelikano Junior. See, you've got a big difference in your section there. It's still got that little ridge and everything, but so that's one of the main things I wanted to show you. And then let's see. Okay, the Schneider Ray also had the rubber section, but where the difference there is that it's really rounded kind of, and there's not a forced, it's a suggestion, but very light. I mean, any of you that have tried this know it does have the rubber, but it definitely is not super forcing you into any one position. And the online Air model is kind of the same as the Schneider. It's got a little rubber there to make it comfortable and kind of help your grip, but it's not really forced. And then the online campus one that has the long name is not quite as comfortable, not quite as wide, but it has very little suggestion too. So I really needed to pull out a Safari. Let me do that real quick. Okay, I pulled out my black Lamy Safari, and that has quite a bit more suggestion, but you're not dealing with the rubber. So if you've got that allergy, you may be looking at something like this, or you know, similar. Whoops, pen. Okay, because you see how different that is. It's a little narrower on the Safari. It's not rubber, and it is much. You know, it's quite suggested. So I don't mind it. I like it a lot. It helps me, and I don't mind it, like I said, at all. Now, as I was preparing to do this pen report, I realized, my goodness, I don't sit around thinking of the Lamy Safari as weird looking, but until I start, you know, comparing pens and trying to justify or explain, well, I didn't really like the way this looked. Not so much. You know, it just calls attention to itself in a way that kind of is a little bit different, you know? And yet I'm so used to my Lamy Safaris that it kind of made me laugh to think that I no longer think of that as being unusual even, so we'll just put that there. But I am not normally one who just has to have everything real simple. You know, I love the Rotring core, and it's just wild. I mean, it's built to be wild, and it's got a crazy grip section, you know, and the whole 9 yards. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie, but I love it. So it made me really think, like, well, what's up, Chris? You know, this one is not quite as wild as that. But anyway, so it fits right in, and yet I just feel like if you're looking for a pen like this and you don't mind the rubber grip, you know, and maybe you actually need something like that, then this style or this body might be for you. So, pen body. Okay, so let's get into the ink journals because there's a lot going on in there for me to show you. Okay, so this is the Bond Travel Gear Tomoe River 68 GSM ink journal, my primary ink journal. And if you've been following me, you already have seen this, but you may just be here for the review of the Pelikano Junior. So we're going to just look at it real quick. This pen was one of my pens for the month of March 2023, and it got a A++, just excellent. So I was using Diamine Oxford Blue in a Pelikan converter in this pen. And it was just one of the best experiences that I've ever had with any pen. I'm not putting it just in the student pen class even. Just so nice, so comfortable, so smooth. And then this ink just got along so well with all the papers, all of them. So that's probably why it rated such a high rating, in addition to the fact that, you know, I liked it so much. It wasn't finicky at all with this ink on the papers. So that's our starting point, because Tomoe River paper is my favorite ink. Paper. So that was my starting point. Now, when we move over into the Midori notebook, let's see here where we're at. I have 2 entries in this one. I have the with the Oxford Blue, and then I have when I switched over to the converter. I mean, cartridge. And it was just so great in here. And this was where I guess I wrote down what I paid. I got this pen at Amazon with channel funds for just under $20. The price does vary, so shop around. And it was just so perfect, even on this Midori paper, which can be a little dry. This paper didn't like this cartridge so much. It feels okay, you know, and it's actually like, and this is one of those ink that when it dries, it lightens up a little bit. Coco, you got to stay there, hon. You can't come all the way up. I'm sorry. Coco was just about to climb up the set, and I have a light geared up because we have really bad lighting today. So I had to do whatever I could for us to be able to see this. I'm actually in my kitchen. Anyway, so it was just much better with the Oxford Blue on this paper. It wasn't a fail with the cartridge, and I'm seeing, you know, that this was the original Pelikano. Yeah, I've got a question going on in my mind about the ink, whether it's different in this cartridge that's in the original Pelikano, because it just seems different. Seems darker somehow, but I'm not sure how you can tell, and I've got to do more research, but it's not as smooth a flow as with the Diamine Oxford Blue. So anyway, there was no feathering and no bleed through. It was all really good, except that I don't like that lack of readability, and that's just that was an ink change. You can't, what can you do really? Next is the pen and gear. And I guess what I should just do is switch that and do the CVS first, because it was really just the Midori and the CVS Caliber that the cartridge had trouble on. And the Diamine Oxford Blue handled this paper and the Midori just fine, but the cartridge did not. Yeah, and this is on my first take. I was scribbling. See, it's already dried now to the same blue, so I just feel certain after doing all kinds of checks to make sure that things were right, you know, with the pen, and that I had good flow. It's just a different, the CVS Caliber lightens up inks generally anyway, and certain inks are really good with it, and this worked really good with it. Not so much with the cartridge. So I just wouldn't recommend it with the cartridge. But, you know, there's, of course, no feathering, no bleed through on this paper. So now let's get into the CVS. I mean, yeah, let's confuse everyone. The pen and gear. The pen and gear paper is really turning out to be good. Let's see. I'm going to go to here. And it was super nice with the Oxford Blue. And it feels really good with the Pelikan cartridge that's in it now. It's just... I don't prefer it, that's all. I just don't like it as well. Drier, yeah, than the Oxford Blue. But I'm going to sound like a broken record. But there's no bleed through. There's no feathering. There's nothing, you know, wrong at all. And this is nice, cheap paper, 99-cent notebook. 4x6, I think it is. Yeah, from Walmart. So, okay, we're adding a new notebook today that's ongoing. I'm going to add, I guess I have to put it sideways to make it fit. This is the Campus by Kikuyo, and I heard about it from pen friend Wasky Squirrel. This is a notebook he really likes. It's the Campus B size. At least I think I got the ones he was talking about, and I love them. So I got 5 of them for $10.80 at Amazon. Different, you know, different colors. And they're like, I guess like a one subject, like 30 pages. So I went back and used all the different pens that we've reviewed so far, the 3. The Pelikan Pelikano, the red one, the Silver Twist, and the Online Air. And they all work really good on this paper. The only one that bled through was Diamine Havaso Turquoise. Did bleed through in that little fine-nibbed Online Air pen. So this is just, you know, getting you up to speed to where we are now, which is here. This is where I did the Pelikan Pelikano Junior with Oxford Blue, and it was super nice. Oh boy, and not a bit of bleed through. I can see a few dots that did what we'd call minor seepage, but nothing that would prevent me from using the back of the page, which is, that's what I live for. I didn't like it with the online, this was the Online Air with Havaso Turquoise. I'm going to blame the ink. It definitely seeped too much, and it was kind of a, oh dear, I'd have to be real careful what I used on the other side. And I don't like that. But that's just one of those things you discover when you start comparing things. And then this paper was really good with this cartridge. So I don't know why, because I don't really see any spread or extra, like there's no feathering or anything, but it just looks nicer on this paper. And there's nothing wrong, on, like I said, on the back. So I'm looking forward to doing more with this campus paper. I like it a lot, and I can see why Wasky Squirrel likes it. So at least if I got the right one, and if I didn't, I hope somebody corrects me. I went in there and tried to find the ones he was talking about, so on one of his videos. Okay, this is Rhodia, and oh, Hello Kitty's falling off. That's how I know that this is the one for this project, so I'll have to go and glue her on. Okay, so I've done both here, but we'll do some more because I had that fail with the focus, so I'm redoing this video. This is the with the Oxford Blue in the today's pen, the Pelikan Pelikano Junior. Really good. I did the scribble test really good too. Passes the scribble test. What do they call that? Pierre Gustafson test? I can't say it. So, and then this is with the cartridge, and it felt really good. In fact, the Rhodia and the Campus by Kikuyo were really good for this, and it did really good on the pen and gear. But it didn't like Midori. The cartridge didn't like Midori, and it didn't like CVS Caliber. So I mean, that's pretty good. That's everything got along with this pen with Diamine Oxford Blue, but only 2 papers didn't get along with the cartridge. So I can't help myself. I kind of recommend a converter, so you could put whatever ink you want and pick some of your nice saturated dark, you know, colors. I don't know, or whatever it is you like. I happen to like dark saturated colors. Okay, I think it's time to look at the report card. No, I promised I'd do some writing. At least a little bit, just so I'm doing it right here, right now. So this is Pelikan Pelikano Junior with an A nib, which is beginner. It means beginner. The German word for it, which I can't pronounce, so I'm gonna just not do that because I don't want to be embarrassing. Okay, and this is the Pelikan cartridge. It's interesting. Rhodia doesn't mind this at all, and neither did that Campus Kikuyo paper. So fascinating to me what a difference paper makes. You know, it's not super wet, that cartridge ink, whereas I did find that the smear for Diamine Oxford Blue was just pretty impressive, you know, quite a bit more. Maybe not a lot more, but anyway, let's do our scribble if we can. I noticed, you know, a couple spots where it doesn't completely keep up. Let's get a little bit different angle and maybe a little more pressure, but not too much. You know, children are going to, yeah, well, not all children, but really young children really get a hold of a pen. They wouldn't with this because a teacher and parent would be helping, but especially when they first go from crayons and stuff. Okay, that's my old preschool teacher coming out. But yeah, it's really good. And wow, it dries quickly. So I think that's an important thing too. But I just really love this pen. But let's get the what I call the ticket or the report card or whatever. And we'll go over that so I don't forget anything. So here it is, Pelikan Pelikano Junior with an A nib. Try to get things. I bought it with the channel funds for just under $20. It's a right-handed edition. And I'm told that's all in the grip. That's, you know, that's what it's all about. It'll be the same nib, if I'm not mistaken. You can use a cartridge or a converter. I did both. You'd need to kind of have a alert that there is rubber on that grip. If you have an allergy, you'll have to look into it more carefully as to what the materials are. It weighs only about 20.2 with the converter in it and the ink and everything. The grip diameter was 12.8 to 14.3 according to Jet Pens. And I like it. I've got a wide tolerance for grip. You know, other than a metal, really thin grip, I get along with almost anything. And there's some 13 centimeters capped or 5 inches. And then unposted, it's not much shorter. It's just a little bit, 12.5 centimeters, 4 7/8 inches. Yeah, so if you're interested in that, there it is. It's widely available. I saw it several different places. You need to shop around for where you want to get it, the best, you know, for you. It has that comfort rubber. I just love, here's the things I love. I love that it has a smooth nib and it has a comfortable, or at least for me, grip. I really love that it looks simple. And for some reason that really mattered to me, you know, when I compared the two. If I had a complete choice, definitely it would be the Junior. I don't, unless I'm going blatantly for that look, like the Rotring core. I love the Rotring core. It's an oddball, but I love it. And yet I wasn't really looking for that with this. So it's a super reliable writer. It's sturdy. It looks like it would hold up to children. I think you could start at any age. I'm talking about 4, you know. Or younger if you're right there, you know, with them and teaching them how to hold it and what not to do with it. But, you know, they usually say 4 because they're not putting as much in their mouth. They're not doing little toddler things at that age. It takes a long cartridge or converter or a short cartridge. Now, one of the questions I have, and I need to write that down because there's 2 questions. One was whether the ink cartridges were different in the, you know, this one with the child pictures and the other one. And the other question is, will this pen take regular standard international cartridges or not? Because it kind of is finicky about the converters. So I'm wondering about the cartridges. But so far I've just used Pelikan product, you know, just the cartridge and the converter that are made for Pelikan. That's what I've done so far. But as time goes along this year, I'd like to find out. I've got a whole bunch of cartridges, and I can find that out. We're going to skip over the don't like. Oh, I'm disappointed that it doesn't come with a converter, because I think all pens should. And then the yellow section could be a problem for some people. They might think that's kind of strange looking and kind of, you know, after being so simple everywhere else, why'd they do that? Or you might worry about it staining. But so far so good. I cleaned off the ink that I got splattered onto it, the Oxford Blue, which is a very good ink anyway. But so that's for some people. That doesn't bother me because it's, you know, it just doesn't bother me. Much drier writing with provided cartridge. Okay, but I'm getting over that because I'm seeing that it just has the cartridge ink with this nib and, you know, it has favorites as far as paper. And that's an old story. We know that's going to be true. Who do I think will like it? Kids, grown-ups alike. Must be okay with a rubber grip and a suggested grip. Yeah. Yeah, you know, it has that suggested grip it's not too drastic, but it's definitely there. I'm okay with this top part. I don't think that bottom, see where my finger ends up? That doesn't do me a bit of good. I don't need that. It doesn't hurt me though. It isn't sharp or anything, you know, it doesn't, like where the Pelikan twist was a little sharp on the middle finger there. This doesn't bother me. You know, it's not a bothersome thing. It's just something for you to think about, I guess. Yeah, so there we have it. I highly recommend this pen. And I also recommend that you get a, I hope it's focusing, that you get a converter. I think your experience will be a lot more fun if you do, because, well, just the cartridge that comes with it, I guess that blue is kind of, that's the blue that my mom always had and gave me. And, you know, it just, you get tired of it after a while. And you want to see different colors or maybe something more readable. Okay, one more thing to show you before we head to the library. I want to show you where I'm housing all these pens, because I had to go to a 36 pen case. Okay, so I became very disorganized, big surprise. And I needed to go to a pen case for these, and it amazed me how fast this is a 36 Monteverde 36 pen case. And so I've got them in here, and you know, they're mixed. Some are inked up, some aren't. Let's just take a look. So this is my solution, is to try to, you know, get these in here. Let's see, I'm going to put a few of them that are like this one. I'm going to put this. So I've got the Vista and the Safari. Little by little, I'm going to have to get rid of duplicates because I'm not going to have space. And I'm going to go ahead and put the Schneider in here. This is filling up really fast. Has one space at the top. I'll put that online one up there, I guess. And I've got one more here. Everything. The Rotring. Okay, we'll put the Rotring there because it's not inked up right now, but it's going to be, because I want to include this in the project. Okay, so let's go over to the other side. And pretty much everything over here except for this little Pilot Petite one is not inked up. I got a couple of Varsities and a couple of, this is the Rotring Art Pen and the Schneider Carissima and the other online pen and a couple of twists. And then let's see. These that I'm using right now are up here, and the ABC is actually going to go back over to my pen case at my Grammy's desk because I'm using that to write letters. And then another, see, I've got duplicates of the Pilot Kakuno right now in the Varsity, and I'll have to clean those out because you could see I only have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more spaces. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Seriously? Okay, but there's some duplication here. I can get rid of, you know, put one of the Lamis back in the Lamy case. But this is helping me a lot. I was going crazy running all around the house in the different places. When I got time to really study these and do more writing, I want them all in one place with the inked ones on one side and the non-inked on the other. So this is a good solution. And then I found that I was looking in my box and I had this Schneider co-ed that I hadn't even opened yet. It was, you know, bought with channel funds, and it's going to be neat. Yeah, I'll see about putting a converter in it and with one of the ones that's cleaned out. But that's interesting because that gives you a Schneider with a very neat looking sleek body. So anyway, and this one that Pen Friend CS sent that she told me what it was and I wrote it in the information and I forgot it. So, oh my goodness. So 2 more Schneiders to look at. Are those the same? No, I don't think they're both co-eds. But anyway, we have a lot of more research to do. But I just wanted to just give you that glimpse that's how I'm trying to, you know, organize and make sure I don't go around duplicating anymore. Let's head to the library because I can see the time here and I just wanted to say a few things. There, we are in the library. And that's the pen profile on the Pelikan Pelikano Junior. Had a lot of fun with this one. And I also had a lot of learning experience because as soon as I changed back to the cartridge, it just wasn't, it wasn't the experience I thought it was going to be with the cartridge. And I know what it's all about. It's about having experienced Diamine Oxford Blue running through this nib, and it was just superior. You know, there was nothing wrong with the Pelikan cartridge, you know, in this Junior. nothing wrong with it at all, but it was going back to a lighter washed blue kind of color that just looks so different. And it felt different only on the CVS Caliber and the Midori. It really was great on the Rhodia, which, if you remember, I used to be real critical of Rhodia paper. And now I'm realizing that it's just like ink. That paper has preferences, you know, that it just isn't gonna maybe feel right with every single nib and ink that we use on it. So it's so fun to me that there's always learning to do, you know, and experimenting and building on that knowledge, because I just enjoy it so much. I'm writing all the time anyway, so to be able to study all these pans, it's like it's like wake me up, pinch me, you know, this is my life, you know, yay. I just really do enjoy it a lot. And so I'm all set up at my grandmother's desk to write letters, and I have a little tiny center in my living room where I take notes on a nonfiction book every morning. And the one that I'm doing right now is that 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, which is really good book. And then of course, journaling all the time in my bullet journal, but beyond that, I'm now in that owl journal to just write. So writing with all these pens and having a good time, but it's really neat how this project is helping to focus me and helping me maybe get some transferable skills on organizing. If I can organize these pens, then I can transfer all that over to, you know, to finding a way to manage a large collection and, you know, the whole 9 yards of working out what stays and what goes and where does it go. You know, if it's a problem pen, oh, you know, I don't want to pass it on to someone. But if it's a good one and it's just a matter of I've got 6 or whatever, that's different. So there's all these things going on. But the student pen project's really centering me, really helping me have a focus that's so positive. And it is neat to be writing, you know, both with a Pelikan M800 and a Pelikan Pelikano Junior. You know, there's something about that kind of levels that, like, oh, okay, so what are the real differences? You know, okay, there's weight, there's the beauty of the finish, there's, you know, the gold nib versus the steel nib, but I'm still writing and I'm still enjoying the writing, you know, at both ends of the you know, pen types, the adult, the expensive pens, and the like child pens that are sturdy and you know, you could hand to someone to like begin their pen journey at a very young age, like you know, like they do in sports, get them started when they're like 3 or 4. So anyway, that's a lot of swirling thoughts, but I feel very blessed to have these experiences, to actually get to try so many of these. And I wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for this channel. You know, the contacts, the ideas, the people that comment and tell me things that I never knew. And then, of course, the gifts, the things that have been sent. And I'm just so supplied, so stocked, so well with everything. And I thank you all very much for that. You know, but like, sometimes I just stop and I just realize what a great world this is. In addition to the challenges that we see and we can't avoid every day, this hobby is so important to so many of us. And it is to me every single day. I'd be writing no matter what I had for paper, pen, you know, the whole 9 yards, I would be writing. But it's just enhanced, like, it's like, I keep thinking this whole week, I keep thinking about a quote by Elvis, and I might mess it up because I didn't write it down. But he was accepting an award, and he said, all my dreams have come true 100 times. You know, well, that's kind of how I feel on the scale that's, you know, my little life or whatever. That when I came into this hobby, I never could have dreamed that I'd get to have so many neat experiences. And so I hope the same is true for you. And I'm out there watching a lot of people who have got new channels, and I'm excited for them. And I see that. I see the next generation in channels and in these pens that we can pass on to not only little kids, but to each other. So take care, and I hope you have as much fun as I do in this hobby, because if you do, then I know that you, at least part of your life is really happy. So I'll see you next time, and let's meet in the comments, because every time I do one of these pen reports, it just adds to the, well, to the overall book of knowledge that I'm kind of collecting about pens in general too, because you can't help but compare even a pen like this with every pen that you're writing with, other pens, and you start to think about the reason. You know, is it the ink? Is it the paper? Is it that A nib? You know, what are the factors that are most going to create that experience that I'm looking for writing? So, okay, I promised I would I would end this video. So I'll see you on the next one. And I think we may have to have a poll to like vote on the next pen, because I've got several that I could do. And it's getting harder for me to decide which one should be next. So I'll get your help. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.